I think of the paintings almost being like portals into both different times and different places. So really going way back in terms of the places that mean the most to me. Paint what you know, paint who you know, paint what you love are all sort of maxims for me, and that includes places as well as people. Childhood for every artist is going to be sort of, a fount of inspiration, and with me all the more so for the fact that I was 12 and my older brother was 14 when we moved from Bangladesh to England. And my father was essentially a white British man training to be a priest, and first went to India on the hippie trail as a young man, and then went back a few years later and was teaching English at a school where he met my mother. That's also where the different layers really that I draw upon in the paintings come from, because we have a white man working for a missionary organisation, the history of India, the history of partition and the history of colonialism all really led the pathways to myself and my brother existing at all. And that's why the idea of the two boys, the two of us, unified as almost like a single body, single person in some of the paintings. And there was a point after my daughter was born in 2010 where I was really asking myself, what is it that I want to paint? What is it that only I can bring to the table, to the sort of, the canon, the discourse around painting? And I did a set of very rapid fire A6 postcard size sketches of oil on card, which we have in the show, the Bough Breaks. And I remember it felt like worlds had opened up, that I knew that this was something I wanted to paint and mine and go deeper in. The Banyan series and the House of God series, both are in a way my ways of exploring an abstract language in painting while sort of rooting it in place. For the Banyan series, really I love the way that paint runs. Paint when it's liquid, transparent, translucent, layered. And it relates directly to the subject. So banyan trees are very particular and really native to equatorial regions. There was an amazing banyan tree in the botanical gardens which we'd visit as children, and my brother and I would climb. While the Banyan paintings, while they are about the abstract language of composition and paint, they'll often have a figurative element. I find the House of God paintings, there's no point at which I want to place a crowd or a single figure within them. They're really about the expanse, sometimes water, sometimes land. And I think of them in a way as colour field paintings, which is a play on the term of, what was primarily American abstraction. Water, whether it's the sea that comes in and comes in and comes in and overwhelms you, or the water that's still or moving, or if you're immersed in it, all of these different states feel quite similar to painting. There are two paintings of children in water. One is my daughter in the sea, looking down, and there's also a nod to the famous Rembrandt painting of the woman in the water that's at the National Gallery. There's a painting called Hotel Bed, Delhi, which I painted last year, and it's just of my late wife's face on a bed, and actually on the trip that we'd taken to India when I proposed to her as well, to be married. I've also got paintings which in my mind really are set in 2021. One is Mother and Child Water, both looking at essentially a horizon in a lake, Connaught Waters in Epping Forest. In one it's of my daughter climbing a tree in Epping, just like my brother and I used to climb trees in Bangladesh. And my late wife, then already with a cancer, stage 4 cancer diagnosis, is propped up at the bottom of the tree. It was her last visit to Epping Forest, which was a place extremely important for my daughter's childhood and very important for all of us as a family. They're among the last paintings I've painted for the show, but really they're quite a core, emotional core to it, because it brings the conversation back to my daughter and the tree, and in a way the metaphorical elements of a tree. When you go out on a limb, the bough may break or it may hold you, and it's almost that point that I want to go to metaphorically in painting. How far can I push it? How can I take this idea a bigger scale? What can I do compositionally to keep it taut, so you can go as far as you can go without the whole painting collapsing, but it still maintains a unity. And in a way that's what I'm doing with all the different paintings in the show.